Hello, everybody. My name is David Ernst. I'm accompanied today with John, Lauren, Celine, and together we are the Babylonians, here to present to you today social media for the workplace. To give us some direction today, we'd like to go over a brief history of social media, followed by the benefits and the negatives, and to cap things off, we'd like to end with your thoughts on the whole subject matter. So starting with the evolution of social media. It all started off in 1969 when CompuServe released the first commercial internet service provider. So basically this means anybody in the world that was connected to the internet now had access to CompuServe's portal. So not that impressive now, but mind you, it is the first step that got us to where we are today. Before we move into the next section, I'd like to know how many people use email at work. Right on, quite a few of you guys. Now, who can imagine a world without email? It just doesn't seem possible, does it? Well, back in 1971, which was when the first email was sent, of course, every employer wanted to ban it. They thought that this increase in communication would ultimately result in a decrease in productivity, as their employees would be emailing people back and forth all day about non-work related issues instead of actually doing work. Kind of funny, right? It seems like email is the main way anybody communicates nowadays, and it would be impossible to do most of our jobs without it. Alright, can you recognize these logos without the text attached to it? Right, it's not too difficult, is it? We have MySpace, LinkedIn, and iTunes, and they're all created in 2003. Pretty well-known brands with the exception of MySpace, but that just goes to show how quickly this new technology can evolve and then disintegrate. So why is it that we can recall these logos without the text attached to it? When we take a closer look into it, we can see that repetitiveness is key to remembering. Facebook has 1.3 billion users today, and on average those users have 130 friends each. So say we have a business fan page of about 1,000 followers. So that just means if we post one status, potentially millions of people can see our name and our logo and know what kind of products we have to offer. This is the definition of viral marketing, and that is cheap, fast, and powerful. Does anybody recognize this character? A lot of people think this is the Dos Equis guy's dad, but he's actually a guy named McClellan, the inventor of the motivational needs theory. Those motivational needs are the need for power, affiliation, and achievement, and have proven to increase productivity when they are all met. The best way to meet them all is ironically through social media. So, the need for affiliation can be fulfilled through social media by connecting with groups. Say we have a company-wide social media, and within that we have a group of a couple employees that enjoy playing tennis. So now you can connect with employees that have like-minded similarities as yourself, which will give you a greater feel of affiliation with other employees around you, which would make you feel like you're an integral part of the company that you work for. Also, if you're assigned a task and you accomplish it, you can post pictures of the product that you developed or whatever task you finished, and people can say, hey, good job, keep up the good work, and things like that. That will fulfill your need for achievement. And now the need for power can be assumed by the number of likes that you have on each status. For example, you post a status saying, I believe that my place of employment should offer better benefits. So followers might start liking that, and then the employer will notice that so many people are liking that they need better benefits, and they might actually further investigate the subject matter and then implement the change that you wish to see. That'll definitely fulfill your need for power, which will ultimately lead to an increase in productivity after all these needs are met. Speaking of increased productivity, there's a few ways we can do that. Collaboration, co-creation, and networking. 40% of the workforce claims that they have a lack of communication within their work setting. So this increased collaboration where we're constantly plugged into the world around us can definitely help meet the communicational needs of the employees. Also, co-creation. So now instead of just developing a product and putting it out there and marketing the hell out of it, hoping it sells, we can go to the consumer themselves via social media and ask them what they need. What would they like to see in our products? For example, Apple just released the Apple iPhone 5C. People had a need and a desire for an iPhone in multiple colors, so that's what Apple created and that's what they got. Also, networking. From an employee and a company standpoint, both can be very beneficial for the company as a whole. First, from an employee standpoint, most companies are very hierarchical, meaning that supervisors don't really associate well with entry-level employees. Therefore, if we were to friend everybody on social media, we could get a greater understanding on the roles that they play within the company, and even maybe begin to figure out how it is that they got to the position they were at, so maybe one day we can be in the same footsteps as them. Now, from a company standpoint, when we're looking to fill a role, recruiting process through HR, we can now go on, say, a professional Facebook called LinkedIn and see who's interested in our company, who has the skill sets that we're looking for, and then invite them in for an interview. It'll be a lot cheaper recruitment process as opposed to posting ads on monster.com hoping that people see it and apply. Next up, we have readily available information. This is instantaneous updates. So what I mean by this is if a CEO is trying to implement a change movement, instead of going posting flyers around the office or calling board meetings that last for hours with no accomplishments, they can simply post a Facebook status saying, hey, I've noticed an increase in swearing within the office, so we're going to implement a swear jar on Monday morning. It's quick, it's efficient, and it doesn't cost much money or time for either party involved. Next up, we have file sharing. This can kind of be linked in with an internal co-creation as well. So files are constantly updated, sent people to people to people to people, usually done via email. The problem with this is, if somebody leaves, we oftentimes lose access to the email, or if another person in the company is trying to fulfill the same role, we don't have as many opportunities to find the information that we need easily. So if we had one central social media such as Dropbox, which is a platform designed for multiple people to drop things into a common cloud, if you will, which is a place to store and download items that you create, we can easily find the contracts or files that we need. And also there's other websites like SharePoint that allows you to edit and update documents in real time with multiple people viewing it. This means I can see exactly what you're editing on the same document that I'm looking at halfway across the world. This co-creation and file sharing, along with collaboration and networking, will all streamline the business processes and ultimately lead to increased productivity through greater efficiency. With great power comes great responsibility. While social media is very effective, it does come with a few side effects, one of which is the lack of work-life balance. With the constantly plugged-in world, it is hard to get away from work now, so it may begin to intrude upon our personal lives. Also, it gives us a false sense of security. When we're behind a computer screen, we feel invincible, almost as if it's our security blanket. So we may begin to bully people and we'll completely lose our filter and start to post pictures of the previous night's party or any other inappropriate or absurd post. Or even if we're beginning to feel a bit resistant against our job, we might post bad things that can result in adverse effects, as we forget that no matter what, we are affiliated with the company and we can be held liable for our actions outside of work. Also, thanks to my little friend here in the illustration, Facebook is a constant distraction and will always be pulling us to deal with our personal life while we should be focusing on our schoolwork or, in a professional setting, our office work. It can also lead to an increased gossip. We'll see a transition that moves away from the physical water cooler within the office to a worldwide water cooler. It's actually a website, look it up. And also, as we use more social media, it'll open up us to viruses and other potential threats. However, all these negative side effects have a remedy to them. The greatest remedy of all is to effectively train all employees on how social media can benefit them in their specific role. Before we even do that, though, we're going to want to go ahead and create a clear policy on social media within the workplace. The policy should highlight things such as how much time we should spend on the work and on social media, what kind of things we're allowed to post, when we're allowed to post them, and also if we're posting on behalf of ourselves or on behalf of the company. Also, it seems how we have our work life intruding on our personal lives, it should go vice versa, and we should be able to use our personal life within our work life. It goes both ways, and it kind of goes back to the idea of having a flexible schedule. Or even if, say, we're in the marketing department or consumer relations, we should be able to have a day off from the office and just be able to work from home, managing our social media websites. To touch on the bullying, social media is required to give you increased access to who's allowed to see your profile. Therefore, there's block buttons, there's ban buttons, there's unfriends, and utilize these tools. A lot of people don't block people when they really should. And in regards to posting inappropriate pictures on Facebook and other social media websites, please use your best judgment. Post professional pictures. If you wouldn't want your mom to see it, why let the whole world see it? And if you really cannot limit who can see that, every time you post a status, you can edit who's allowed to see it. You can make it only yourself is allowed to see it, only your close friends is allowed to see it, all your friends, or everybody who has internet can see it. The power is in your hands, and it's up to you to use it. And also, if your computer's prone to viruses, then you probably shouldn't be in business anyways. That goes back to being able to train your employee on safe cyber practices and also updating your antivirus. And just to touch on my friend in the illustration, if we're at work and we're not checking our personal profile, but we have that feeling that something's going on that we have to check, are we really thinking about producing high quality work? Or are we thinking about the personal life? So if we were to spend 2 minutes checking on our personal life, we would ultimately produce a higher quality work and be more productive in the workplace. So my friends, what side are you on? Like or dislike? Do you think social technology has a positive or a negative impact on the workplace? Thank you.